Hi guys! Behold, the A5 5-year Hobonichi techo. Let's have a look at it. Like the A6 5-year techo, it comes in this beautiful yellow cardboard box with the years embossed on the front. When you open it, you get this little booklet which shows you how the 5-year techo can be used and explains some of the features that it has in the back, which we'll be going through. And then it also has this really nice feature. It's a blank spread, which is just loose like this, and you can use this to test pens and experiment with different layouts and see what it would look like if you were to put stickers in it and stuff like that. So I think that this is really nice because if you're going to be using this for 5 years, before you get started, you really want to make sure that you've got the right pens for it. The A5 5-year techo also comes with the Not Scary Bear, which comes with the cousin and the A6 and I think the weeks, I can't remember. I've amassed quite a large army of Not Scary Bears this year, but it doesn't come with the pen, just FYI. And so here is the techo itself. The first thing that I think really strikes you about this when you open it is that it's just so satisfyingly chunky. Look at this. It's really got a nice weight in the hands and it has this extremely pleasing thickness to it. So this is a straight A5 size. Let's just compare it to the cousin, which people will be more familiar with. There it is compared to the cousin. So the paper size is identical. It's a true A5, but because the cousin has a cardstock cover which is flush with the paper, it looks a little bit smaller in comparison with the 5-year techo, which has a PVC cover. So you can see that the cover hangs over a little bit and that the paper is a bit smaller in all directions. So here it is in comparison to the A6 5-year techo. So it's obviously exactly twice as big. And it looks a little bit less chunky, I guess, because the A6 is smaller, so this one is a bit more balanced in its proportions, I guess, but it's exactly the same number of pages as in the A6, so that's what they look like side by side. I'm really, really happy having both of them. I'm using them for different things. The A6 is my gratitude log and daily highlights record, whereas the A5 is going to be my home planner. So just like the A6 5-year techo, if you're familiar with that, it says Hobonichi 5-year techo on the front, and then it's got the years. So I got this one last year, so you can see that's 2018 to 2022, and this is 2019 to 2023. And then it also lists the years on the spine, which I think is really cool. You can see the signatures on the spine. It's a very durable vinyl, but you can see it's kind of floppy. It has a really, really nice feel. And it's designed so that you don't need a separate cover with it. I'll talk more about covers in a minute, but this is quite rugged. You could just use it on its own without a cover. The only issue is that it doesn't have a pen loop. That's what it looks like on the back. It's completely blank. So, as is typical of Hobonichi, it's a very nice, understated, minimalist design, which I really like. When you open it, you get this cream end page here, which is thicker than the rest of the paper. It's a nice thick cardstock. And then it says Hobonichi techo 2019 to 2023. Quite a commitment, but what I found with the A6 5-year techo, which I've been using for nearly a year now, is that because each page doesn't have a huge amount of space, you can actually use it quite easily without feeling overwhelmed. So if you're using it for daily journaling or just as a kind of minimalist daily planner, you really don't have too much space to fill, and so it doesn't feel like a burden. That's been my experience anyway. Then it just starts straight in with yearly calendars. So you've got a calendar per year of the techo, each one on a single page. As usual, Monday start, Sundays are in red. So that goes all the way through to 2023. And these are not on gridded paper, they're just blank pages with the calendars printed on them. Really nice having this in A5 size because it feels very big and expansive. I'm going to use these calendars for marking everything to do with my dogs. So when they're due their flea medicine, when they're due their worm medicine, when they're due their vet checkups. Because I think it's really good for seeing that sort of thing that you just need to check at a glance, that can be helpful to have a bird's eye view of. And then, without further ado, you start into the daily pages. So the concept of the 5-year techos is that you've got one space, you have one 2-page spread per day, but it's that day over 5 years. So it's the 1st of January, and you've got a space for 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. So on the left-hand side, it's divided into 5, and this is gridded paper. So I'll just hold it up so you can see the grid lines. Obviously, on this first page, you've got the calendar pages showing through, but in subsequent days, you won't have that. And the paper is cream colored. So if I compare this to the weeks, sorry, the cousin, you can see the difference there. The cousin is much whiter in terms of the paper color. So I like both of these. I think that the 5-year techo is quite nice with the creamy paper, but I really like the white paper in the cousin as well, and the A6. And the print is a kind of charcoal, so it's not quite black. It's sort of a dark gray, I would say. And for each year you get the day of the week that it is, and that's only in Japanese, but you get used to reading the Japanese weekdays if you're not already from the cousin and the A6. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lines per page. The first 2 lines are a little bit shorter because they've got the year in them, so they're kind of indented. But 10 lines per year, and it's A5 size, obviously. And then on the right hand side, you just have a big blank gridded page, so you can do whatever you want with that. And then it's got a quote at the bottom. So the idea is that you've got your space to write whatever you want to write in that day per year, and then on the right hand side you can do whatever you want with it. So if you wanted to make an illustration or do some painting, watercolors, make random notes that aren't necessarily connected to that specific year, then you can do whatever you want. My immediate instinct when I saw this is with the A6 was to use it in conjunction with the left hand side. So, it could be like a continuation if you wanted to write some more for the same day. Now, the problem with that is that, as you can see, the right-hand side starts a few lines higher than the left-hand side, and then it finishes a few lines, quite a few lines, about 7 lines before the left-hand side finishes, because it's got this quote at the bottom. So it makes it more difficult to do that because you don't have an even space. So if you started off here and you said, okay, this is my 2019 area, right, and you continued over here, then you've got 2020, 2021, 2022, fine, but in 2023 you've only got a few lines on the right hand side, so it doesn't work ideally for that. What you can do if you want to do that is what I've done with my A6, and you can just kind of count out the number of lines on the right hand side that you want to use per year, so it won't be even, but you could say this is your continuation of 2019, and then this is your continuation of 2020, and go down the page so that you actually do end up with more or less the same number of lines. It might not be exactly the same, but it's pretty much the same number of lines. And so, like, say this is your 2023. So you can do a continuation on the right hand side if you want to be methodical about it, but it won't match up evenly. That's my biggest gripe about this planner. I wish that they'd put the quotes at the top, like maybe here and here, so that you had exactly mirroring pages on the left and the right hand side. But it is surmountable. I saw a really cool suggestion on YouTube or Instagram where somebody said that they do an illustration on the right hand side every 5 pages, which means that obviously your illustration covers the whole page, so you can't divide it by year, but then you get every 5 pages per year, meaning that by the end of the 5 years you've filled up the right hand side with illustrations, which I think is a cool idea. So on the right hand side, you have this monthly tab here, so you can see what the month is, and then on the side here you can see that you can flip to the right month if you want to. There's also a bookmark. There's a single bookmark, which I think makes sense for this planner because it doesn't have monthly spreads or weekly spreads, it just has the daily spreads, so you really only need one bookmark. But you might end up having extra bookmarks depending on the cover that you pick for it, which I will talk about soon. So as you can see, it just continues like this. So this is the 2nd of January, you've got your 5 years, you've got a quote on every right-hand side. And it continues like this for the whole year. So a question that people often ask is what happens with leap year? And I will show you. There's only one leap year over the course of this planner. It's 2020. And so for the 29th of February 2020, you get a whole entire spread. So you've got quite a lot of room to work with on that one day. And then it just continues until the end of the year. So I really like the design of this. It's just very minimalist and clean and really calming. Just very pleasing to look at and to work with. I can say from my experience with the A6, that's what made me decide to get the A5 when I found out that they were bringing it out, because the only thing more satisfying than having a nice chunky A6 5-year planner is having an even chunkier A5 5-year planner. As with most Hobonichi products, it lies completely flat, pretty much from the beginning. So you can see this is the beginning of January. Totally fine. It's very nice and floppy. And because it's A5, it just feels like this massive tome which you can fill with all sorts of amazing stuff. So in the back, you get to the last day of the year, 31st of December, 2023, and then you have a blank spread per year, which you can write whatever you want for the year, depending on how you're using it. So I'm planning to use this to write highlights of the year, just for fun. At the end of the year, I thought I would write down, like, say, the top 10 or 15 things that come to mind for the year, and I thought that would be a fun way of closing out the year. At the bottom here it says bookmark, and there's a solid line. The rest of it obviously is dotted grid lines. And then you've got about 10 lines worth of space to write something here, but you can ignore this if you want to and just use the whole thing for one purpose. Depending on what you're using this planner for, if you're using it as a planner rather than a memory keeper or a journal, you could use it for, like, say, passwords or phone numbers or things that you want to have quick access to, which is what I do with my cousin. I put things in the end of the cousin that I just want to be able to flip to really easily. So you could do that for this. I feel like most people who use this A5 techo, 5-year techo, use it for something other than planning, or possibly goal setting, but not like kind of straight day-to-day planning. I really like the idea of using it for that, because I like the idea of being able to come back every year and see what you were planning on the previous year. So as I said, I'm going to be using this as a home planner, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. Then you've got a page that says remember this, which is a blank gridded page without any dates. And then you have a 2-page spread, which is a list of gifts. So a record of gifts that you've given to people or received from people you could use it for. And then you've got addresses for 16 people on a 2-page spread. And then you've got my list, which is a spread on a single page of 4 different lists, each with space for 10 things. And then you've got an abbreviated history of humanity. And then this blank page, the back page, personal notes, which is similar to what you get in the other Hobonichi planners. And then you get your back end page, and that's it. So, as I mentioned, I'm going to be using this as a home planner. So my idea was that it would be really fun to be able to follow my day-to-day activities over the course of 5 years. Because I like to be able to flip through the completed pages in my planners, and I thought what would be more fun than getting to flip through year after year and just kind of chronicle the progress and what's happened, and to be able to look over past events, which is the point of the 5-year techo. That was what it was designed for. And I think the idea of being able to do that while you're still using the planner is really exciting, because, you know, often in the planner community, we like to keep our old planners so that we can go back and look them over in years to come. But I think it's sort of even cooler to be able to look back over your previous years while the planner is still in use. So I decided to use this as a home planner because I just love Hobonichis, and I really wanted to be able to use this for something other than memory keeping or records or illustrations. I was trying all kinds of different things to think of to use it for, and in the end I decided that it would be fantastic to use it as a home planner. So what I'm going to do is put in appointments and tasks on the left hand side, and then probably extend them a little bit onto the right hand side. I haven't quite worked out how this is going to work. I might make the right hand side vertical, so this is year 1, this is year 2, this is year 3, etc. And what I'm going to do, which is a big experiment and I'm excited about it, is just use stickers in this. So my current home planner is an Erin Condren hardbound large planner, and I just use stickers in that invariably. I don't actually write on the page. And I was kind of going back and forth about the idea of using stickers in this planner because of the concern that it would get too chunky, especially over 5 years. But this planner is designed to be able to stick ephemera in it, and as anyone who has seen a fat hobo picture on Instagram knows, Hobonichis are designed to sort of be able to expand and to, you know, decorate and put stickers in and put whatever you want in. And so I decided that I am going to go for it. And I know it will become chunkier, but I'm really not concerned about it becoming unmanageable. So it's going to be an interesting experiment, but that is how I'm going to be using it. I'm going to be using Happy Planner stickers mostly in this. And I'm just going to use it for everyday appointments and to-dos in the same way that I have been using my home planner in previous years. So I'm really excited about that. Sorry, that's something very exciting has happened in Dogland. My dogs are barking, if you can hear that in the background. So that's how I'm going to use it. Now, in terms of covers, the biggest problem with the 5-year techos is that they don't have a wide range of covers available for them on the Hobonichi site. The only standalone covers that you can buy for them are made out of leather, which really sucks if you want to avoid leather. So this year for the A6, they came out with this amazing gift set, which comes with a beautiful cover, but there is no such equivalent for the A5. So I have done a little bit of experimenting, and this is what I have come up with. First of all, the standard A5 Hobonichi covers don't fit it, which I think most people know, because it was a big disappointment last year when we found out that the A6 5-year techo wouldn't fit in the normal A6 cover. So you can see, even before you try to put it in, that it just, there's too much overhang. I've tried it and you won't be able to get this to fit in. This is standard cousin cover. I also tried a Filofax Flex, which I thought, you know, might be a bit more forgiving, but again, it's too big. It just doesn't fit because it's so chunky. And then I tried the Disc Agenda cover from Ducky Book, which is designed for A5 disc-bound planners, and so it has quite a bit more room. And unsurprisingly, it does fit in that, but if you're type A like me, it will bug you that there's so much extra room. So you can see this is what it looks like. There's some extra space, particularly in the top and also a bit at the bottom, and then when you close it, there's quite a big gap on the side. So if that doesn't bother you, then go for it, because these are available on the Ducky Book website, and I think also on Amazon, but I'll leave the link to Ducky Book down below. But if you're like me, then this is just not going to fly because there's too much extra room. It is too clearly not designed for this size. Even though it's called A5, it's actually designed to fit an A5 disc-bound planner, and that's why there's so much extra room. So then I discovered something really interesting, which is that the day camp cover from Hobonichi, which is designed for the cousin, actually fits because it's a trifold. And so this is how it works. So this is the cover that I'm currently using with my cousin, and I absolutely love it. I've been using it for the last month and a half, and it's great. So this is obviously designed, to have both covers go into the flaps. With the 5-year techo, it doesn't work. It gets lumpy if you try to put this front cover in the flap, but because it's a trifold, you can close it like this and it fits perfectly. So I was really pleasantly surprised about that. So if you like the day camp cover in the A5, then you can go for it because it will fit the 5-year techo perfectly. And you can see that when you open it, there's a bit of overhang here, but because it's a trifold, that really doesn't bother me because it's not like it's sticking out when you've got the planner closed. It just closes like this and then it's fine, and you wouldn't even notice that it wasn't designed for it. So it's possible that some of the zip covers might fit this. I don't have any zip covers from Hobonichi, but I saw a video from Humble-chan where she had discovered that the A6 fits in some of the zip covers. So it might be worth trying if you've already got an A5 zip cover from Hobonichi. So that is an interesting discovery. And then my other pleasant discovery was that it fits in this A5 Hobonichi cover from Lyra & Co., which is an Etsy shop that I'll leave linked down below. So this was a custom design because of the My Little Pony fabric, but this is just her standard A5 cover. I think it's listed as a Hobonichi / Leuchtturm cover. So it wasn't custom in that it wasn't designed specifically for this planner. So when you put in one side, it looks like there's going to be a bit of overhang and it will be too small. But miraculously, when you put the front cover in, the flap, it fits perfectly. So I was really happy because I already had this and it just fits amazingly. So I think that that's another option. If you have a look at the Leuchtturm / Hobonichi covers on Lyra & Co. And there's one that you like, it should fit this. You could message her just to make sure of the dimensions, but if it's the same as this one, which as I said was just a standard one, then it will fit, which is really exciting. So I'm going to leave it in this cover for now, but it's also nice to know that this is an option as well. So I think that's it. In terms of this planner, I'll let you know when I've set it up and started using it, which I'm really, really excited to do. And I'll show you how it's going. So I hope that you enjoyed this. If you have any questions about this, let me know. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!